You are listening to the Marketing Equation Podcast with Martin Shervington.
Okay. So I'm joined today by Brian Robison from Editor, which has got 2rs.com. And I like this service. Brian, welcome. Do you want to explain what Editor is? And then we're going to come into some tips and things like that, because I've seen you've done some excellent things very quickly, and I want to talk about that. But do you want to explain who you are and what you do?
Sure. Thanks for having me. Brian Robison. I'm the CEO, co-founder of Editor.com with 2Rs. You like the service. I love the service, but that's I guess I'm a little partial on that.
I should be.
What Editor is, it's we've been called Uber for writing, and that seems to be the best way to explain it to people. We have a network of writers, of editors that have been pre-qualified on our end, going through our process and what have you. And so someone has something they need edited, some writing they need edited, they'll come to our site using our app or our website or however, all the ways we have you can connect, and they'll submit their writing, and then as soon as it gets submitted, it gets dispatched, just like Uber would call all their taxi drivers. It's dispatched, all our editors that are clocked in or that meet our criteria. There's a whole algorithm that goes through. I'm not going to get into that, but it gets dispatched to editors, and whomever picks it up starts working on it. We have them pick it up within 5 minutes or less, so they'll start working on it and get it back to you, depending on the size, within 5-10 minutes. If it's like 2,000 words is our max, it could be maybe 30 minutes, obviously, because that's kind of a bigger one. But it's just a quick, easy way for people to get help writing that's beyond software and beyond just spell check or having your friend read it. So how it really works, though, and what we really wanted to focus on was quality, convenience, and price. So what we had initially thought up, my co-founder and I, when we came up with the idea, we pictured an editor standing in line at Starbucks and getting a text message saying, "Hey, would you like to fix this job, and we want to make $4 or $5," and then they can say yes, pay for their coffee, go sit down. They're helping somebody out. They pay for their coffee for free, basically, for doing the fix, and they're good to go. So we really are focusing on the mobilization of it, and that's more for the editor, to be honest with you, because a lot of people don't write long writings on their mobile phones, but it's for them to be able to quickly get notified and be able to take that job anywhere they are. I have people that work across the street from me, and I have people that work 5,000 miles away from me, which is great. So it's basically, in a nutshell, like I said, it's just Uber for writing is what we like to call it, because people seem to understand it that way.
Perfect. No, it's great. So what we're going to do, there's a promo code. You very kindly said that you'd offer to people. We're going to give them at the end. Do you know, I don't normally do that, but people are going to have to listen to the whole podcast now. Yes, hooked in for the promo code. No, but I started using the service yesterday, and because Brian was like, check out the site first. Before the dinner, I thought, right, let me see how long it takes, and I was almost crying, thinking, it's really easy. The onboarding's perfect. It's really simple. There's no complexity. It's easy, right? So for everybody to give it a go at the end, we've got a promo code. But there's something bigger here, Brian. Well, before we get to the tips for people, because you're doing good things, the bigger thing is, if we can encourage people to write and get their voice out there, and we can remove one hurdle, and the one hurdle is it's going to be better. It's not going to have typos. You're not going to have people going, "Oh, you shouldn't." Then it simply encourages that act of writing. And I think that's the bit that I saw is like, this solves a problem. And I could tell, because you and I are connected with Chris Brogan via his insider group there, and the response is, yeah, this is something that serves people. So it seems to be going great. When did you launch?
We marched officially April 1st.
Yeah.
And we had our beta in March, and I was expecting to, we had a small beta of 50 to 100 people, and I was expecting to spend the next 6 months fixing all the problems that we had in March, but we didn't have anything that I had to fix, so we felt confident. We launched it in April, and as of today, we have 4,700 new users. We're getting about 50 to 70 new users a day.
Great.
So we're happy with that progress. We know we obviously want to shoot for more, but for where we're at right now, we're really focusing on the customers that we do get and the people that are using it, and then scaling it from there. But yeah, officially, if someone asks the launch date, it's April 1st.
Cool. So I've got a question. So I write, and I tend to write a lot, and I've seen the packages, and they're very well priced packages as well. I've got to say that it looks a really appealing proposition. So the question I've got is, how much shaping up of content do you do? So is it do people rewrite a sentence, or do they kind of go, listen, you've put a preposition at the end, it's staying. We're not going to restructure this for you. So what sort of is the nature of editing that happens?
The thing I tell my editors and my customers is that we make it better. We do more than just spell check and grammar and punctuation. That's, you kind of expect that. But where I have problems, and a lot of people have problems, is maybe I write in a passive voice, or I use the word there too many times, or that too many times.
So it just that was spontaneous. That there. That was good. So you can have the 3 different versions of it if people want to as well. Anyway, geeky jokes. Go on. Yeah,
absolutely. And what they do is they just they will rewrite a sentence if they have to, because sometimes it's easier just for them to rewrite it, and they'll make it sound better, and they will change the context of it without jeopardizing the content itself. And that's where it's helpful when you submit something. Say, hey, this is for a speech I'm giving to top level executives. Or this is a presentation I'm giving to 5th graders. So you know the context of it, and you know exactly what it's for. Or this is just a fun social media post. I talk in this language as it is. I use these acronyms. I use a slang term, and so we kind of we will adjust to what your writing goal is for that particular writing. So to answer your question, they do more than just the basic spelling, grammar. That's expected, but yeah, they'll reword it and make it sound good without jeopardizing your actual content and your intended goals. So we're not going to sit here and rewrite pages and pages, but if it's a sentence or two or move a couple of words around, that's fine. That's obviously something that we want to do to make it sound better. That's why people are coming to us.
Perfect. So, okay. Now, let's give everybody the promo code so they can go and check it out, and then we'll ask you the questions on how you're marketing yourself. What's the code?
The code can be anything we want. So
okay. So we'll come up. So do you want to just make something up?
Sure. What's
PYB001? Does that work?
Yes, it does.
PYB001. We'll sort it out after, Brian. That's fine. So go and you'll get 500 words free. Is that how you're doing it? Or?
Yeah. Well, just for your guys, we'll give you 500 words free. Just go to the. You get 100 just for signing up. So if you put that code in, you'll get an additional 500. Just go to the Get Words page. You just click on how many number of words you have. It's really easy to find. Pop that code in, and you go ahead and you'll get an extra 500 words.
Wonderful. Okay, thank you. Now let's come to you. Relationship building and outreach. What are you doing in terms of building your user base? You're on a podcast now, so are you doing lots of podcasts? You're doing lots of writing? What's your approach to building your business?
I'm really just at that point right now of getting my name out there and getting our name out there. But a lot of things that we've done, my wife runs this with me. She does the marketing and social media and everything. She gets me connected with people, like Chris and other people. We met Chris at a social media conference here in San Diego. But it's really... I
was at that as well.
Oh, you were? We
missed each other. There's a lot of people there. But were you there this year?
Yes, that's where I met Chris, actually, yeah. Okay. So the way I'm getting my name out there is just basically just telling people to try it. That's why we offer a free trial, demonstrating. Like, that's all I did at the conference. I was talking to people, and they wanted to see how it worked. So the easiest way for me is to demo it to them, show it to them, and get my name out there. That way, lots of business cards, a lot of grassroots stuff. And I think that's important at the beginning, because it shows that if you've never done it before, it's very difficult. You have to get out there, and I'm not very not the type of guy that will walk up to someone and just start talking to him, but I kind of had to be that person. And then I had people actually coming up to me and asking me about it, and I had to be ready for that, which is fine. But the biggest way we're getting people is through those I like to call them grassroots people, meeting people like Chris, and then connecting with people like you, podcasting, and just getting out there and finding a need for it. I would love to have some weekly training sessions or just fireside chat type of things where I can help people understand the importance of writing. It's ironically, it's a service I use every day myself. I'm not ashamed to say that. If you remember the old Hair Club for Men commercials, that's me. I'm not only a user, I'm a founder, I'm a user. But we haven't spent much on advertising. I spent a little bit on Facebook ads, and I saw a pretty good return. But that really wasn't my goal at the time, so I kind of pulled back a little bit to as long as I was getting my 50 to 60 new users a day, that was great. And a lot of our customers are coming through our affiliate program, through where maybe someone refers you over, we can give them some free credits or pay them if they become a paid user, or even through our iOS app download. That seems, I would say about half our traffic comes from iOS, the App Store. But it's really been honestly a lot of word of mouth and very little advertisement, and just a lot of demoing.
Yeah. No, good. And are you writing, you blogging yourself?
Not much. I've started one for editor. I'm trying to get one out there at least every about once a month. I had one spontaneously the other day. Actually, it was last week. I'd read a quote that said, "If you don't care about your writing, why do I care about your business?" Or no, why do I care about? If you don't care about your writing, why do you care? Why do I care about you or your business? Yeah, and just that just got the creative juices flowing. And I wrote like a 500-word blog about that because it struck home to me, and I was like, "You're right. You're absolutely right. Why do I care about you?" And I think going back to why we came up with this is, I grew up struggling myself with attention deficit disorder. I did learning disability myself. I had a hard time putting just words out there and getting my point across. And like I said, this is something I use every day. And there was that whole stigma, at least, I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and there was a stigma attached to having a learning disability or a problem. And, that along with being able to, just like you had talked about at the beginning, kind of motivate people to write more because they may have those ideas in their head, or they may have maybe they don't have time to do it. That's really the goal here. When you use the service, we show you what we've fixed because we want you to learn how to do it. That's why we let you chat with the editors, so you can chat with them and see what you've done. I don't want to say wrong, but what things you could do better, because I want you to learn, and I learn every day in my own service, and that's
so it makes you a better writer. That's what we're saying here, isn't it? It isn't only the end piece, but that's a really useful frame of reference for people.
Yeah, and it came about twofold. My partner, he worked in Singapore for a few years. He was a VP for HP, and he ran a big department, 50 to 75 people, and he had all these great minds throughout the world coming to work for him, but they couldn't get their point across. They had ESL syndrome, as he called it, and he's originally from Russia himself, so English isn't even his first language. He speaks English very well, but he understands the challenges that you have, and so like you'd have these guys that would try to generate a report or something for him, and they'd be really smart, but they just couldn't write a simple basic report, and these are multi-million-dollar contracts, and he's like, there's got to be a better way. And so we put our heads together, and I'm like, I've kind of had the same problem, and let's kind of find an easy way to do it, and Editor was born.
Great. In terms of search, because I'll encourage you to keep writing, Brian, always. So in terms of search, would it be editing services, copywriting services? What is it that you would be sort of looking for in search?
What I have people search for in like the App Store, or our SEO that we search for is simple things like proofreading,
right? Yeah.
human editors, because it's a big thing. There's services like Grammarly that are, a multi-million-dollar company, but they're not human beings, and so that's kind of a big thing, is to get that human connection. And but yeah, mainly proofreading, editing. I got to be careful with editing, because some people may think it's photo editing or video editing, so I say copy editing, proofreading, grammar, spelling, and things like that is really what I focus on.
Cool. Excellent. So let's give a shout to the site again, editor with 2Rs.com, PYB001. You've got a discount code if people want to go there. Not discount code. You actually got free credits, so you get 500 words free as well. That's PYB001. So thanks for that, Brian. And how can people get in touch with you?
They can email me directly. I have no problem with that. People email me all the time. Brian, BRIAN, at editor, editorr.com, and contact us on the page as well. There's lots of ways to get a hold of us.
Awesome. Well, thanks for making the time, and hang on the line just for a minute or two, and thanks for educating everyone on what you do. But also, it goes back to what you're saying, grassroots, going to the conferences, shaking hands with people. We've said this a lot. It does make a tremendous difference. So you're doing it right.
Absolutely, and I had a big hesitation about going to that. We talked about that social media conference. That was not a cheap ticket to go to, and when you're starting at a startup, every dollar you have is important. But I would have paid twice as much, knowing the contacts I made, and knowing if I would have known what I got out of it in return. I'm still seeing benefits of it, and I consider even you have now a benefit of it, because
me. Good, I like that. Brian.
Got connected with you. If I
exactly. Well, it cascades, doesn't it? Is it by connecting with one person, being friendly makes a difference. That's the thing. Which I looked in the group. Oh, this is a friendly guy. He's got something cool going on, and I'm not the best salesperson in the world. I have a cool product. I know people want to use it, and you have a need for it, and if you want to use it, it's there. And we want to. I got to pay my editors, but it's a cool product, and I'm not one to just push anything down anyone's throat. And I say, just give it a try. That's why I give you free words to try it out, because I'm that confident in it, and I'm really proud of it, and we've put a lot of time and effort and blood, sweat, and tears into it, and we're adding new features all the time. We just came out with a WordPress plugin that I'm going to be launching that today. We've made it real easy, where all you have to do is email your request in. You don't have to go to the app. You can just email fix@editor.com. Once you have your account set up, it gets dispatched that way. You get an email when it's done. We're trying to make it as easy as possible for people to submit their work, make it usable in real life. So, so we got a lot of. Yeah, it is. It is, and the problem I was having is I have too many new features and stuff. I don't want to inundate people with emails and posts and things like that. So most people, 99% of the people are receptive to it, and they love it. They're like, keep it coming. So and you've got your roadmap, which is great to hear as well.
Yep, absolutely.
Thank you for listening to the Marketing Equation Podcast, brought to you by PlusYourBusiness.com and Effective.fm.